Another week, another massive Pac-12 showdown. Number 8 Oregon travels to Salt Lake City to take on number 13 Utah in a game that will not only serve as a Pac-12 title elimination game, but will also serve as a college football playoff elimination game. And honestly, with these two programs, would we expect anything less? We have seen some instant classics between the Ducks and the Utes, and we have seen both of these teams play spoiler for the others in recent years. 2021, Utah ending Oregon's college football playoff hopes, beating the Ducks 38-7 in Salt Lake City, and then beating them again a few weeks later in the Pac-12 championship game. 2019, Oregon winning the Pac-12 championship over Utah and ending the Utes' college football playoff hopes. And then a handful of other fantastic matchups in between, including last year's 20-17 victory for Oregon in Eugene. So we should be in store for another classic in Salt Lake City, another spoiler game for one of these teams, another elimination game for one of these teams. The question is, who's going to get eliminated? That's what we're going to answer today. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. We're so glad you could join us today. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below, including those expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. We are on a 49-22 run against the spread. Yes, 49-22 run. That is 69% against the spread right now. We are on a fantastic run. So if you want guaranteed winnings, if you want to be a part of this run, which means if you want money directly in your pocket, go sign up for those picks today. It's a full year-long subscription, 365 days. So you sign up now, you get it through late October of next year. It's never too late to sign up. We want you to take advantage of those picks and become a part of our GE Nation. Again, the link for those picks down in the description below. Go sign up today before this week really gets going. So let's take a look at this game, guys. We don't necessarily call Oregon and Utah a rivalry game. I think when you think of other rivals for these teams, Oregon and Utah don't really come to mind. But in recent years, these have been two of the best teams in the Pac-12 year in and year out. And again, have been able to play spoiler for each other, have been even with each other. The two teams have split the last 6 meetings. Again, we mentioned the 2019 matchup. We mentioned 2021. We mentioned last year. Should be noted also that Oregon has not won in Salt Lake City since 2016. As we know, this is a very difficult place to play. The Utes 18-1 at home, dating back to 2020, and have won 18 straight home games. 18 straight home victories for the Utes right now. Can Oregon come in and steal the win? We take a look at the offense. Oregon owns a significant edge offensively. There's no denying that. The Ducks are averaging over 550 yards per game, 326 through the air, 227 on the ground. They are very, very balanced, and it all starts with their star quarterback in Bo Nix, who's just been lights out this year. Over 2,000 yards, 19 touchdowns, just 1 interception. Takes phenomenal care of the football. Can beat you on the ground sometimes too. Their running back core is extremely underrated. You got a great running back in Bucky Irving and Jordan James, both of which have rushed for over 400 yards. And then Troy Franklin is one of the best wide receivers, not just in the Pac-12, but I put him up there as one of the best in the country. 768 yards, 8 touchdowns so far this season. Here's the interesting storyline I'm looking out for. Oregon's offense is better than USC's, who Utah beat last week at the Coliseum. Oregon's offense is better than that. They are more balanced than USC. They are more efficient than USC. And so this is really going to be an offense that challenges the Utes and will be one of, if not the best offense they face all year long. The Utes, though, have yet to face Washington. We should keep that in mind. But the key for Oregon, more than anything in this game offensively, is to maintain balance. If you're the Ducks, you've got to come into this game and you've got to remain balanced. You can't allow Utah to bottle up your run game and force Bo Nix to do everything to the air, or vice versa, shutting down Bo Nix and forcing Bucky Irving and Jordan James to do everything. If I'm Oregon, I'm trying to establish that run, trying to get the ground game going early, which in turn will open up the passing game for Bo Nix, maybe allow a couple big-time plays for Oregon. Take a look at Utah. They're coming off their best offensive performance of the year. We think of Utah, you think defense, defense, defense. Well, maybe the offense is finally getting up to par. 482 yards against USC last week, and about as balanced as you can be with 235 passing yards and 247 rushing yards. They're still only mustering 345 per game, though. That's it. They're not very electric. Like we said, if you made me choose, I'm choosing Oregon's offense all day over Utah. Bryson Barnes, though, seems to be coming into his role. Had a great game against the Trojans last week, 633 yards, 4 touchdowns on the year. Jaquindon Jackson has been phenomenal, over 450 yards and a touchdown on the year on the ground. But what this game comes down to for Utah offensively, it comes down to 2 things. Number 1, comes down to Bryson Barnes and his play. More specifically, his play on the ground. He had that massive run against USC late in the fourth quarter that put the Utes in field goal range. Ended up being the game-winning field goal. He's going to have to utilize his legs in this game more than he has over the course of this year. Keep in mind, he's rushed for over 124 yards and 3 touchdowns. Although over 100 of those yards have come in the last 2 weeks, rushing for over 50 against California and over 50 against USC. He needs to be able to escape the pocket. He needs to use his legs. He needs to scramble. He needs to extend plays. They need to have a couple designed runs in there for him. Maybe even bringing in Nate Johnson some. Utah's quarterbacks are going to have to use their legs to keep the Oregon defense honest. The second big thing for Utah offensively is get a big play. Now, that sounds cliche. It sounds stupid. But listen to these numbers. Listen to this. Almost every game Utah has played in this year, they have had a massive chunk play. Listen to this. Last week against USC, opened the game up with a 53-yard touchdown. It's a great way to start the game. Then the week prior against California, a 72-yard run in the fourth quarter to put the game to rest. They were only up 10 when that happened. That 72-yard touchdown put Utah up 17 over California. Against Oregon State, yeah, they lost that game. The lone touchdown came late in the game on a 41-yard touchdown, a big play. They had a pick six on the first play of the game against UCLA. They had a 70-yard touchdown pass against Florida back in the season opener. They need some massive play. They need to find a way to exploit Oregon's defense and get some huge chunk play that either results in a touchdown or gets them pretty dang close to it, and that's how you beat the Ducks. That's how you win this game. So the chunk play, the big home run ball, Utah's got to have at least one in this game if they want to beat Oregon. Take a look at the defense. Oregon can match Utah's defense. They can. The Ducks' defense is still really, really good. They're only allowing 312 yards per game, 217 through the air, only 95 on the ground. That's really the impressive number right here. If Oregon bottles up Utah's run game, it's all going to be up to Bryson Barnes. It's going to be up to finding that home run ball. It's going to be up to their quarterbacks to deliver, and the question is, can they do that? Here's the thing, though. They might be able to. The Ducks' secondary hasn't been all that great these last few weeks. Against Washington and Washington State, their last 2 games, Oregon has allowed 754 passing yards. And I get both those programs are pass-heavy teams. Michael Penix and Cam Ward, very phenomenal. Better than that of Bryson Barnes. But if I'm Utah, I'm like, all right, the secondary is vulnerable. We can do this. And we did torch USC, who has a horrendous defense, no doubt about it. But we can still do this against Oregon. They're not invincible in that back seven. You look at the rushing yards, though. Oregon's only allowed over 100 rushing yards twice this year. The season opener against Portland State and the second game of the year against Texas Tech. Every other game since then, they have not allowed over 100 rushing yards. It's 5 straight games where they've held their opponent to under 100 yards. And that's the key. That's the key. If they can hold Utah to under 100 rushing yards, they've got this game in the bag. And I feel very confident about that. So find a way to contain the Utah ground game, both with their quarterback and their running backs. Force Bryson Barnes to deliver through the air. I think he can find a few holes in the defense. I think he can lead some big-time drives. But if it's the entire game, I like Oregon's odds. Take a look at Utah, though. Their defense is really, really good as well. I mean, one of the best in the entire country, allowing 295 yards per game, 217 through the air also, only 78 rushing yards per game. So based on these numbers alone and what we've seen from these two programs, it's evident that both of these teams are going to do a really good job of stopping the run. Or at least we feel pretty confident about that. Utah's allowed over 100 rushing yards 3 times as compared to Oregon's 2, but they've also held 4 other opponents to under 70 rushing yards. 4 opponents to under 70. That is a very impressive number. And this Utah defense has actually created a pretty good amount of pressure. 25 sacks on the year, 10 of them coming from Jonah Ellis. No one's talking about this guy. 10 sacks, and we're not even into November yet. It's an insane number for Jonah Ellis. And his Utah defense has also forced 11 turnovers on the year. We know Bo Nix is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. There's no doubt about that. So Utah's going to have to find a way to sack him. They're going to have to way to pressure him, force him into second and third and long situations, force him into a mistake or two. And I'm telling you right now, if they can force one other turnover off of Bo Nix and then convert off of that, convert for the touchdown, I feel confident Utah can win this game. Nix has taken phenomenal care of the football. Only 1 interception this entire year. If they can get 1 interception off him this game, and then convert off the interception, whether it's a pick six or they just score, period. I feel very confident about Utah winning in Salt Lake City. So we talk about Oregon. I feel confident they can win if they can hold Utah to under 100 rushing yards like they've done for many of their opponents this year, 5 straight games. We feel confident if Utah can win if they can force 1 pick or fumble, whatever it may be, off of Bo Nix and convert with a touchdown off of that. You take a look at our final analysis, guys, it's going to be a tough game. I mean, it's so hard to pick. Oregon owns the offensive edge. I don't deny that. Utah, to me, owns the defensive edge. I don't deny that. Both teams can run the ball extremely effectively, but both defenses are very good at stopping the run. So if both defenses stop the run, it comes down to quarterback play. I like Bo Nix more so than I like Bryson Barnes. However, I really like Rice-Eccles Stadium. I still like Salt Lake City. Still like the fact that Utah has won 18 straight games at home, even with lackluster offenses. I think the Utes offense is starting to find itself. I think last week against USC was a massive win for this program and a massive wake-up call for their offense to show, hey, we don't have to rely on our defense to do everything. We can actually move the ball. We're starting to figure ourselves out. And I think that carries over to Saturday. We're going to be in for an instant classic. This should be, in my eyes, should not be a blowout on either side. But Utah ultimately will win this game. Salt Lake City, Utah is where dreams come to die. And once again, Oregon's dreams will die in Salt Lake City. The Utes get the win. They once again eliminate Oregon from Pac-12 title and college football playoff contention, just like they did back in 2021, at least from the playoff standpoint. And Utah will jump into the top 10, should be taken seriously as a college football playoff contender as they continue their quest for a third straight Pac-12 title. So there you have it, guys. The game of the week, Oregon and Utah. Leave your predictions down in the comments below. Let's get ready for another massive college football Saturday. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below, including our expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Again, a 49-22 run against the spread. Do not miss out. It's a full year-long subscription. You do not want to miss out on those guaranteed winnings right back in your pockets. We're beating out over 80% of the national handicappers. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on The Gridiron Expert.